This podcast was produced by OAR FM Dunedin with support from New Zealand On Air.
Kia ora, and welcome to Diversity Dispatch, your local queer radio show. We're your hosts, Ricky
and Percy, and we're here to bring you the latest in Dunedin queer news, community projects, events, and more.
Sit back, relax, and tune into our fortnightly show hosted on OAR FM.
Let's get started.
Hi, guys. Listening to that intro, sorry. So it's Ricky, and it's Soul, also Anarchy,
hello,
also Deliria. So we've got a fun little show for you. Anyway, listening to that intro, I was like, listening to how monotone my voice was, and I remember that day, and it was that kind of day. I did not have any caffeine that day. So I was like, hi guys, welcome. So we thought that we would discuss with you guys today the importance of certain crafts or hobbies to have. Our favourite being sewing, because, obviously fast fashion's an issue at the moment because, capitalism, be doing capitalism things. But yeah, first of all, secondhand shopping, fantastic way to get clothes. Sewing is also another way to edit your clothes, so then they're a lot more interesting, a lot more fashion, but also sustainable. And we love that.
Yeah, we do.
So if any of y'all out there are looking for a really solid hobby to take up, maybe consider sewing. Because I'm self-taught. I did a workshop in high school when I was 12 maybe. And if you just start real small, then you can start making some real cool stuff.
Yeah, I was lucky enough to inherit the skills from my mother, who inherited the skills from her grandmother. So I am carrying down a long tradition of sewing within my family. I come from a family that used to make clothing for everyone because that's how poor we were. My cousin, she still makes all the clothes for her and her kids, by hand on the sewing machine. Some of our family members have fallen down the capitalist pipeline, unfortunately, but for those of us who have held on to the skill, it's, proving to be more and more useful.
Yeah, I can imagine, it would be really tough to have to make your own clothing, but I suppose once you have, the skill within your family, it's just any other thing.
Yeah.
Hey, Deirdre, can you make your sister a shirt?
Yeah.
She needs a shirt to go to school.
Yeah, 'cause my cousin's kids, they've been old enough to sew for themselves for a few years, so it's just up to them to make their own clothing. They're 12 and 14, and they make all their own clothes.
That's awesome.
Yeah, they're really good kids. They're
also,
amazing.
That's fantastic. And, even if it wasn't a necessity to make your own clothing, I think it would be awesome to, just have, a stockpile of fabrics and things just in case, an event comes up and they're like, oh, I need to go buy new things. You could spend $100 on, a tacky, awful satin dress.
Or you could spend $100 on fabrics from the fabric store.
Exactly, and only use one bit of it and then forget you have the rest of it. Or secondhand shop.
The secondhand
fabric.
shop.
That's where I get my fabric from.
Unless I need a really specific kind of fabric, I'm getting fabric secondhand most of the time.
Yeah, and it's that's a really good way to just end up with something that not everybody else has.
Find a lot of cool stuff, a lot of very beautiful vintage fabrics. They don't make floral fabrics like they used to.
No.
It's just, I feel the style of floral that you see has changed, and I'm a big fan of a very classic 60s, 70s, even 50s floral patterns, and the only place I'm going to find those is in the thrift store or, from some kind of designer fabric line or something.
Or somebody who's held on to this vintage fabric and they're all right, I will charge you so much money.
Oh, no, they'll give it to you. 9 times out of 10, if it's some grandma who's just been holding on to that piece of fabric for decades,
actually,
they will give it to you.
I've been thinking, because obviously a lot of the stuff that I make when I'm sewing has a very particular taste in it. There's a very particular type of fabric I like or color scheme or whatever. And a lot of my favorite stuff is typically vintage stuff. And I was wondering if I could put out an ad or something and be haere mai te tear beautiful fabrics. Like, do you have, vintage fabrics that you've been holding on to for a long time? Would you like to help a local...
Do an ad on, like, Trade Me or Facebook Marketplace as, like, looking for fabrics?
Yeah. Because I think that would be a really good way, because I think a lot of people...
Or just go to the old folks' home, make friends with the old ladies whose grandchildren don't sew, and then they'll give it all to us instead.
That's a really good point. Maybe we should be care workers, except probably on the other side of that.
Maybe we'll just go and, like, read to the old people instead of wiping their butts.
Drag shows at old people's homes.
I would love to do drag show at the old folks' home. I'd love that.
That would be so much fun.
It's just like, do I reach out to the old folks' home? Do I wait for one of them to reach out to me?
I think reach out to them.
Yeah.
I think that would be fantastic.
The oldies would get a kick out of it.
They would.
Because most old people that I talk to about drag, they always bring up, like, their favorite pantomime dames from the BBC back in, like, the 50s and 60s and stuff. Like, more often than not, like, older people, they do know drag, but they know more classic drag. But, like, they know it, and they're kind of excited to hear it and see about it.
Actually, that's a fantastic idea. Like, if we were to put together, like, a show that was a bit more, like, pantomime-esque.
A bit more classic and get...
Yeah.
Yeah, because, like, the boomers and the Gen Xs, they do love some drag.
They do love a good pantomime. Some silliness, some fun things. Yeah.
Sewing. We're talking about sewing. Speaking of, like, old people and sewing, we talked about this earlier before coming on the show today, but we find a lot in, like, the thrift stores and the fabric stores and the sewing machine shop. The old ladies that work in these places just froth over us because they're really excited to see young men sewing, doing, these traditionally feminine crafts, these textile arts. It's like... Why is it gender? Why? Yeah, that was one of our points. Is why is textile art so gendered?
Yeah, because like it's kind of insane. Because like, imagine this: you're sewing, and then some random man comes over and be like, "That's a thing for women or like females," and you're just like, "I mean, do you wear clothes?" And they'll be like, "Yeah," and you're like, "I think making clothes is for any creature that wears clothes."
Literally, like I didn't stop sewing when I started taking testosterone. I fear that it may not be a gendered activity, ladies and gentlemen.
And also just, like, tailoring, like, has typically been, like, a male-led...
Yeah, exactly. But, like, speaking of tailoring, I love being able to tailor my own clothes, especially as a tiny dude who wears, like, a 30 waistband in the thrift stores, because I'm always finding, like, 32s or 34s. I can never find pants that actually fit me, but I can buy the bigger size and I can bring them in a little bit.
Yeah, I have been too afraid to do tailoring specifically. I think I'm probably at a stage now where I could confidently do it.
Doing the waist on a pair of jeans is pretty easy.
Yeah?
Actually, yeah.
Okay.
It's not too bad. Like, I'm still not comfortable doing, like, tailoring on the crotch area or the butt area, but the waist is really easy to bring in.
Yeah. Okay. Because, like a lot of my clothing, the struggle area is the crotch, just because I'm so tall. So that particular area just gets a lot of...
Well, like a proper tailor, they're still only $50 for most alterations, and they're professionals who do this all day, every day. Tailoring is their full-time job, and they still exist, thank God.
Yeah, like over the last year, maybe year and a half, I've been going, like, regularly to a local tailor to get, like, I'll find, like, a beautiful pair of, like, Hugo Boss pants in, like, an op shop for, like, $10. Like, lightly farted in, but hey,
only lightly.
So you get them dry cleaned, and then you get them tailored, and then all of a sudden you have a pair of pants that are like built for your body, and there was a Hugo Boss, and you're like, we got a wee bargain there.
Yeah, I also love the cobbler. I love getting shoes fixed.
Me too. I found like this beautiful pair of like made in England vintage leather, like square-toed shoes. I love a square toe. But yeah, like usually with these like actual leather shoes, the bottom there's no grip because it's literally just like a leather pad that's been like nailed on.
Yeah, notice how tailors and cobblers are male-dominated industries as well.
Yeah, maybe we need to switch that up.
Women, are there any female cobblers? Please hit me up.
Oh, I met someone recently who was, what were they? They were into smithing.
Oh, yeah.
A woman that was into smithing. And I thought that was so cool.
Yeah.
Like, making knives and stuff.
Oh.
I'm like, we love that. We love claps for you. Yeah. So what are some other gendered, some things that have some weird gendered stereotypes put on them?
Yeah, perhaps just specifically within textiles.
Or even just like crafts in general.
Yeah.
Jewelry making?
I feel like that one's kind of 50-50.
Yeah.
You see a lot of male jewelers, a lot of female jewelers these days.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe traditionally it was a little more masculine, but at the same time it's jewelry and it's quite dainty a lot
Hairdressing?
of the time. Hairdressing.
That's definitely one.
Yeah, and like if you're a man working in hairdressing, like you're probably gay is the stereotype, you know?
It's like, why? Because I don't want...
Unless you're a barber.
Exactly.
And then barbering is straight.
And then barbering is straight, or those are just like the closet ones.
Yeah, it can either be straight or it can be real butch.
Yeah, butch queen. Yeah, definitely a lot of that going on. But yeah, sewing, couture, one of a kind. I've really been into like woven tapestry type fabrics. So like I recently went to the op shops and I found, you know, like table runners.
Yeah.
I found one that's like I've definitely seen in a relative's home before in like my childhood. And it's just like this woven like tapestry of like fruits in a bowl.
Cute.
Except I don't think it's in a bowl. It's just like this pattern going down. And I'm like, I'm going to turn that into something. Something beautiful.
Yeah, I love
sexy.
fruit patterns.
Yeah.
Especially on something that would usually have a floral pattern and then instead it's fruit.
Uh-huh.
Oh,
You're
love
like,
it.
way to...
Mix it up. Put some fruit in that bad boy.
Like, way to change up the game.
Like my
for
flat
everybody.
is inside of a big old Victorian era home and the molding up along the walls, it's got little fruits molded into it instead of just like swirls or flowers. It's little bundles of fruit.
Oh, that room was meant for you.
It's so gorgeous. Wow, thanks.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Beep boop bop.
Beep boop bop.
I haven't had any caffeine today, so like my brain's just like she's running on fumes.
Oh, okay. Sewing. Been doing a lot of sewing this week.
I have been doing a lot of like preparing to sew. Actually, what I was doing yesterday, my thumb really hurts because yesterday I was teasing up a wig and it was taking ages, but also just like me applying pressure on this tiny little like teasing brush the whole time. Like, my skin is sensitive.
The preparing for sewing, though, is so much of the sewing process. Like washing the fabric and pressing the fabric and cutting out your pieces.
Mm-hmm. Pinning them.
Pinning everything.
Then discovering that it's not pinned right.
it with the grain line.
Mm-hmm. Like, I quite often skip a lot of anything to do with math. I just... will skip it. But what I will do is I will just like eyeball the overall shape of a pattern that I saw online and then I'll just like place it, you know, to the body to see if it actually like does what I want it to. And I'll be like, oh, it does. Like there's a little bit of extra fabric over the edges, but that's perfect because I'll clip that and then I'll reuse the scraps. And another thing, actually that's another thing that I've been looking into is custom like fabric weaving.
Oh, yeah.
With like a loom. Yeah.
I really want to get a custom tartan made.
Yeah. Well, it's like I was on TikTok and I saw a video of somebody who just turned like a massive canvas frame into like a loom.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So they just basically nailed a bunch of tiny nails on like the top row and the bottom row so then they could just tie strings between them. Or you can also get like this kind of net fabric which people will just like embroider into.
Oh, yeah.
So that's another way to do it. I reckon the weaving way is probably easier.
I know with tartans, you can just get them custom made.
Can
from
you?
a lot of there's a lot of factories in Scotland that will do up a custom tartan in whatever colors you want if they can order the color.
That'd be cool.
Yeah. It's just probably be real expensive.
I mean, it would, but like, I suppose if
I wanted to do it, I might as well go all out, get an entire bolt of the clan of Archie Tartan, make
absolutely.
everything out of it.
I was going to, last night, I was looking at the Hayward's Auction House auctions, and the whole, like, theme was tools.
Love.
And I had 3 saw tables in my wish list, and then I got real tired at the end of the day and completely just missed all the reminders on my phone to be like, make sure to check back at this auction. One of them sold for $30. I'm mad.
I love Hayward's because you can get because over at yours, our venue, we got a lot of that stuff real cheap from Hayward's.
Oh, that's
Deep
good.
fryer ovens. We got our pizza oven for like $250, and it's
wow.
a $20,000 pizza oven.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I just assumed that all came with the building, but
No, the stuff that came with it wasn't great, so we traded off a lot of the stuff that came with it. But pretty much everything we sourced in the kitchen, we didn't pay over $500 for anything in there.
wow. That's fantastic. Kudos to y'all
Yeah, thank you.
for slaying.
Slaying.
Yeah.
Kudos, mama.
I have had some like drag attire in the mail, and it's either gone missing or it's like just like the shipping's just boo boo at the moment.
No.
And I'm like, where are my things? I need my dopamine hit. Like, where are my presents from me to me?
Yeah, I felt like our next show was a bit further away than it was. So I got a late start at ordering things, and I'm like, I don't think the wig's going to arrive in time.
Oh, no.
So we'll turn a different wig into something else.
What
Make it
kind of
work.
wig was it?
I ordered a bright green wig to put those cyberfalls that I got on it.
Ah, yes.
And I don't think she'll get here in time, so I'm going to take my long black wig and cut it into a mullet. Mullety kind of trad goth thing.
Cute.
Yeah, because I don't want to put the cyberfalls on not the right wig.
Yeah. Also, if you're like real strapped for a wig, you could always borrow my green and black one.
Not true. Yeah.
It does have a big cap though, so
Big cap. It's kind of flat.
yeah.
Kind of boring.
Oh my god.
Boring, not gonna
Come
lie.
for me. Actually, I have been
It's a
considering
flat
styling
wig.
it. 'Cause, like,
Wow.
wow. Because, like, it's been flat for a while, intentionally. Slicked, I would call it. But yeah, I've worn it like that a few times now, so I'm like, maybe now's a time to just get weird with it. Especially since I have that other wig on the way, the green and purple one.
True, yeah.
Yeah, because, like, I mean, or I could just style with that one. They're very fun. Loves it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That's very the vibe today. Also, I feel like I've decided that I want to start camping it up out of drag a wee bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know how I want to do that.
Oh, you could do that by sewing your own clothes.
That's true.
Tying it back to today's main topic. which is
Yeah.
sewing, yeah.
Today's sponsor, sewing.
The sewing machine.
Yeah.
The sewing machine in your house that's already in your basement. Go dig it
Yes.
out, take it out, get a pattern online, PDF for free, download it, print it off, make yourself something.
Or be an absolute monster like me and just get like,
Just put it together.
watch a TikTok and be like, I could do that. My brain's 3D. I can 3D that.
I need to like have the pattern pieces in front of me to be able to visualize it better. Personally,
I mean, I usually, because like once I can see what the pattern, the individual shapes look like, I understand why
yeah,
they look like that. So then I'm like, oh, okay, that makes so much sense because obviously that's going to curve. So then, okay, like I remember the first time I saw like a sleeve pattern, I was like, oh, that explains so much.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, that shape's sort of ingrained in my brain now. I suppose that's just the type of brain I have. Like, I can do that, but if you ask me to like read a short story, I will like lose interest straight away and be like, I can't do it. I can't complete this. I'm so sorry.
I can't do it.
Oh my goodness, I need
Oh my god.
a Red Bull. I miss Percy. I wish Percy were here.
Why? Am I not good enough for you?
No, you're fantastic, but I just want to know what Percy's up to.
Doing Scotland things.
Yeah. Studying mythology.
Interesting.
Speaking of mythology, so the wig that I was styling yesterday, it's gonna be pretty wild. It's a rainbow wig. I've been looking at it for so long, and I'm like, I honestly don't know what I'm going to do with this. But then it dawned on me yesterday, and I'm going to leave it a surprise for when I decide to debut it, because it's going to. I feel like I'm going to wear that when I do my patu paere hair,
Oh yeah.
like drag look.
Yeah.
With the pew pew that we dyed. So that's exciting. Also, horror show this weekend at yours.
Halloween, spooky.
Yeah. That's going to be exciting.
Yes.
Are you going scary?
I'm scary. I'm doing like a zombie doll kind of look because I love a very classic Halloween icon. Like so last year I did a zombie. No, I did a vampire and I did a devil last year. So this year I'm going to do a zombie. And like growing up as a kid, got to do Halloweens in North America, and I did a lot of like just classic Halloween figures. So kind of going back to those roots, but we're going to drag it up. Make it look fun. And I have 2 days to finish an outfit and try and make something.
I'm sure you'll be fine.
Yeah,
You'll be able to
the
style
top's
something.
almost done. Then I got like a bunch of skirts I can put together and then some lace and
I feel the exact same way. Because I'm doing
we'll do some Rob Zombie.
I'm doing like a haunted. What am I doing? So I'm doing like a ghoul that resides within a house. And the way that this idea came about was I was at the op shop and I found this like little like sewing kit, like a little storage thing, but it was like in the shape of a house, like a cute little house, and then the lid comes off and it's like the roof and there's like a little chimney, and I was like, oh, hat? I think hat.
Wig.
Yeah. Wig hat.
Wig hat.
Wig
That's why
hats,
they call it a
yeah.
hat. I love styling a wig and it's so solid, and when you take it off the head, it's like, that's why they call it a hat.
Yeah, literally. You're like, there's a sculpture
Oh,
here.
I see.
That's my real hair.
Just pop it on like a Lego hair topper.
Yeah. I took that big red wig that I styled off the the wig head and put it onto like my mannequin because I needed to use the wig head. And while it's on the mannequin, it's enormous. I can like put this little like roof hat on it.
Oh my god.
Which is kind of the vibe because like, you know, when you have like massive hair and then you just put like a teeny little hat on
I
it.
love that.
Yeah.
I love a fascinator moment.
Yeah. I mean, I do when it's nice, which is not all the time. Yeah, so I've got the house thing going. I've also got these like spooky, scary, spiky teeth that I'm putting in. I had to buy some denture glue yesterday from the pharmacy because like some of the bits were coming off, which was annoying. And then I was also buying hand cream. And then the lady was like, wait, is denture glue for you? And I was like, yes. It is
for Halloween.
It is for Halloween. And then
Also, young people have dentures sometimes. Sometimes people
Exactly.
have genetic conditions where their teeth just don't form properly and they don't have teeth. Like,
and that's exactly.
stop judging. If
Yeah,
a
I'm
young
like-
person buys denture paste, none of your business.
I was like, whoever it's for does not change the fact that I need to buy that product.
yeah.
And then I was also buying hand cream, and then the topic came up being like, oh no, I mean, I'm sure your hands are soft, probably. And I'm like me walking like this, I'm like, no, maybe I'm just really old. Maybe the dentures are for me, and maybe my hands are just old under these gloves. I was wearing gloves, by the way. So that was an interesting experience. But I got what I needed. I haven't opened the denture glue though, so I have no idea how it works.
Yeah. You usually just squeeze it into the thing. So I used it before to attach fangs. Sometimes the denture glue has a bit of like liquid kind of sitting on top that separates out. So make sure you squeeze it till you get the pink goop.
Yeah.
Because there'll be sometimes, depending on the brand, there'll be a little bit of like clear stuff that comes out first. The clear is not the glue. Squeeze it until you get the pink.
Yes. Oh. Fantastic advice. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Yeah, because like the way that these teeth work is there's just like, so it's like, you know, think just like dentures, but like teeny tiny thin, like a flipper, and they're spiky. But then it's like the way that the like thermoplastic attaches to it, there's just like two little holes drilled on the side of the like denture, and you mold the plastic. You roll a little snake of this plastic, stick it to the back, and then you like press it into your gums. So it's only attached to the false teeth in two very minute points, and I'm like it quite often just falls out. So I'm actually just going to glue the like retainer part to the teeth so that they stay together.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what I'm going to do with that. But I also made like a foam nose that's like a little pointy, almost lightning bolt shape.
Sniffing.
Sniffing, yeah. And And I'm going to do, because I used to draw these like little cartoon characters where they had like real pointy noses. And it's going to be real fun bringing them to life.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, I think that just about brings us to the end of our episode.
Already.
Yeah. Time flies by when you need a Red Bull. In my case,
And I'm
anyway.
like sitting behind me, I'm like, oh God, let me go back to my Red Bull, please.
You're like, please, my little
When's
sweet
it gotta
treat.
be over? I need
My fast,
Red Bull.
sweet treat. Anyway, thank you so much for tuning in to our quaint little discussion. And we'll see you on the next one. Bye.
And that's a wrap for today. Diversity Dispatch airs fortnightly on Thursdays at 5 p.m. So if you like today's episode, then be sure to join us in a couple of weeks for the next installment on ORFM.
And check out the podcast on oar.org.nz and your favourite podcast platforms. Tune in for more chill chats, fun facts, and upcoming local events on Diversity Dispatch.
This podcast was produced by ORFM Dunedin with support from New Zealand On the Air.